for joining us in business as we feature people, ideas and companies that move financial markets. You're in business with me, Harsha Subramaniam. This is on top of our agenda. We talk earnings with Adi Godrej of Godrej Industries, an exclusive conversation with Adrian Mowat of JP Morgan. We talk economy with Sonal Verma of Nomura. But first, Godrej. Godrej Industries posted fourth quarter numbers yesterday. Total income rising about 24% to over 7,000 crores. Profits were up 34%. Adi Godrej, Chmn, Godrej Industries now joins us on this conversation. Mr. Godrej, many thanks for joining us on Bloomberg. My first question to you, what is your assessment of consumption demand at this point in time in the context of what the Godrej consumer has done, which has seen a nearly 30% growth in top line? Do you expect to maintain this level of growth rate this fiscal?
Well, the GCPL growth was combined in our international and Indian business, and it includes some inorganic growth. But our organic growth was also very strong at 20% plus. We expect that this growth in the consumption businesses will continue in 2013-14, particularly because we expect a good monsoon this year. That should accelerate rural demand post-August-September.
Mr. Godrej, as you say, from all indications so far, monsoon seemed to be on track. Do you expect a better year for agri-business? Because Agrovet seems to have done well in terms of sales growth of about 15%.
Yes, despite the fact that this was a poor agri season overall, Godrej Agrovet did quite well. It exceeded its performance in the previous year on almost all parameters. And we expect that 13-14 should be even a better year for Godrej Agrovet.
With inflation, Mr. Godrej, both on consumer and on wholesale prices coming off, what is your own expectation from the Reserve Bank to cut interest rates?
Well, I can't say what I'm expecting because I'm not an expert in this field, but what the Reserve Bank should do, I can tell you what I feel. I feel they should reduce interest rates very considerably. Inflation is coming down, global commodity prices are falling, and that will lead to further reduction in inflation in the months to come. I think the economy badly needs a boost in terms of lower interest rates, and the Reserve Bank should provide it well in advance so that the year 13-14 can be a good year for GDP growth for India.
Do you believe that the environment is conducive for a revival in the real estate sector, Mr. Godrej, specifically for your properties business?
Well, as of now, our properties business is doing well. We are growing very well. Our growth rates have been somewhere between 50 and 100% per annum. Our demand for residential property has been strong almost all over the country. However, the demand for commercial property is poor. And if the economy revives, if businesses start doing better, then I think commercial property could revive too.
Godrej Chemicals has gone through a bit of a rough patch. Would you believe that this weakness is cyclical in nature? How soon do you expect a bounce back?
We had a poor year in 12-13, mainly because the global economy was on a downswing and the raw material prices, vegetable oil prices were going down during the year. So naturally the finished product prices also had to be reduced. So when the prices are going down in raw materials, buyers delay purchasing typically, but now we find that the fourth quarter was quite good for our chemicals business, and we expect our chemicals business to do much better in 13-14 than it did in 12-13.
Mr. Godrej, one micro question. The Prime Minister yesterday has said that that GST will not be done by this government, and he sees nothing happening at least in the elections. You've been a big votary of GST. Are you disappointed? Are we losing time on what is India's most important tax reform measure?
Yeah, I feel so. I feel the GST is a very important macroeconomic reform for the country. It will add about 2 percentage points to our GDP growth, other things being equal. And the more time we lose in implementing GST, the worse off the country is. I think everybody realizes it, the government knows it, the opposition realizes it. It's a question of the government and opposition coming together and sorting out whatever issues there are. It's a shame that the government and the opposition are unable to work together for economic reform in our country.
One final question, sir. Do you believe that economic growth will begin to revive this fiscal? Are corporates feeling a little better about making investments? Are they feeling optimistic about growth this year?
Let me divide that question into two parts. I definitely feel that the GDP growth in 13-14 will be a little higher than in 12-13. As far as investments go, I think there are 2 or 3 reasons why investments are slowing down. One is permissions for new projects are still slow. Although the Cabinet Committee on Investments has been formed and it has taken some positive steps, many projects are delayed because various permissions are delayed. They could be environmental, they could be on other counts. And delays in permissions are leading to considerable delay in investment. The other major reason is interest rates are very high. And when long-term interest rates are high, people are hesitant to invest. And I think India is among the larger economies of the world, by far the highest interest rate in the world.
All right, so we'll leave it there. Many thanks for joining us with your perspective. Adi Godrej, Chairman of the Godrej Group, talking about their own numbers and the outlook for the economy. Well, we've got another big exclusive coming your way on Bloomberg TV India. Tata Steel announced a $1.6 billion impairment